Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of SCZ Live. I'm Shanae, and I'm down here in our farms area of Sedgwick County Zoo. I'm specifically in the African farmyard. Now, the African farmyard has had a slight bit of transition over the last 6-7 months, and then we've added the Asian animals down here as well. And eventually, we'll probably change the whole farmyard name to something to really talk about the history of domestication, because so many of these animals played such an important role in the creation of cultures. We forget sometimes that without domesticated animals, we wouldn't be able to be in some of the places where we live today. So let's go ahead first and turn around and take a look at one of our first animals here. As soon as I can find the camera and get it to turn around, which it doesn't seem to want to do today. That's always one of those fun things. Okay, my little turnaroundy has disappeared. Well, that won't be nearly as much fun if we can't get it to turn around. Hold on, we're trying. The funny piece is it was here just a second ago. Well, you know what? We can just be creative, by gosh. We're just going to turn around this way a little bit here then. If you look right over there, let's see, first the animals you can see are the Sebastopol's geese. The Sebastopolds are animals that originally lived in our Asian area, and they are domesticated in Asia. One of our staff just was telling me that they consider them kind of the voices of the farms, and I think out of all the animals here at the zoo, the African barnyard here has probably the animals that are the most vocal. We have both the Sebastopol geese, which you can see right there, which are beautiful birds with almost that white feathered tutu around their body. And we also have the Guinea Fowl, which you guys will meet in just a second. Now, walking right over there near the Sebastopolds now is our dromedary camel. This is Jemani, and Jemani is getting to be a little bit older. She was actually born in 1999. Which makes her a little bit of an older animal here in our farmyards. But camels are such fascinating animals. Generally what we notice is that there are two types of camels. There are Bactrian and dromedary. You can remember that because Bactrian has two humps like a B, dromedary has one hump like a D. Now, contrary to what cartoons often tell you, you cannot store water in a hump. Instead, the camel will store fat in the hump. And that fat is really important because it allows them to be able to survive those times when maybe there's not as much moisture around. So it's certainly an important part of their body. Now, ladies, for all of you guys that are spending money on eyelash extensions, man, you only wish you were a camel, because they have some naturally beautifully long eyelashes, which then allow them to be able to keep the sand and the dust out of their eyes during those sandstorms that might happen in Africa. And one of the most fascinating things I have ever seen in my 30-some year of zoo career was the inside of a camel's mouth. Now, for all of you that are thinking, what? Just Google it. After we're done with the program, Google camel's mouth. It is fascinating. All throughout the camel's mouth, they have small little like ciliae or feelers in it, which I believe help with moisture retention. But it almost looks like that big hole that they were trying to dump Luke Skywalker into in one of the Star Wars movies, with all the little feelers that it has in it. But it's an amazing thing, and again, just one of the brilliant adaptations that animals like camels have for living in really harsh conditions. Now, some of the favorite animals that we have here at the zoo are our potbelly pigs. I'm going to see if I can't get the screen over here and let you guys see them. Again, I'm trying to do this backwards, which doesn't work very well. They're down here on the ground. And the potbelly pigs are pretty fascinating. We have two here at the zoo. We have Wilbur and Twinkie. Now, one would think that Twinkie would be the white pig, but you would be wrong. They came in as pets that people could no longer keep, and because of that, Twinkie is actually the darker one, and Wilbur is the whiter one that you see there. Now, often potbelly pigs were kept as pets. We do not think here at Sedgwick County Zoo that they make the best of pets. I'm trying to see if I can get down here. There we go. And show you some pigs there. The main reason for that is, as you can see, even though they're called potbelly pigs or miniature pigs, they can get awfully big. And that large size can make them a little bit difficult to keep. So it's always important to remember before you purchase any animal, whether it be a dog or cat or a pig, make sure that you have the time and the resources to be able to take care of them. There you can see them. I don't know if you can hear the slurpy noises. I'm going to try and get down here and really let you see a pig. Nothing like some good pig vision early in the morning. Yet again, some beautiful eyelashes that you can see there. So potbelly pigs are definitely one of the interesting animals that we have here at the farms. I sure wish I could get the screen to switch over, but I still cannot. So by gosh, you get to see a whole lot more of me than you ever expected to. But it's not just me. Look who just joined me. Hi, it's Kimberly. Kimberly is our keeper over in this area, and she is here as well. Kimberly, can you tell us a little bit about our Watusi over there?
Yeah. Yep.
Let me see if I can switch this around. This is the darndest thing. So we're walking over here towards the Watusi. Still trying to switch the camera around with no luck. Yep, I'm tapping all over the place. Well, it's just one of the fun things about live TV. You never know what's going to happen. So I'm going to switch around here and show you some Watusi. Let's see, there we go. We are right there on one of our Watusi, I think. Kimberly, tell us about our two Watusi.
So we have two, a male and a female. The one up here is Lily. She's our female. She's about 17 years old. And the one behind her is Silver, and he's about 3 years old. So you can kind of see the difference between age and gender in them. They're kind of the African version of a Texas Longhorn. Lots of villages in especially northern Africa and the Middle East, they value these guys. The bigger the horns, the better. It's a status symbol. So Lily, as a female, her horns are thinner, but they're still big, where if you can see Silver's, his are thick. They can vary in thickness and length and curvature, but the general thing between them is they're just big and massive. And when we work with them, we do have to be aware of that spatially, but they're really gentle. They're, as he messes with a pig, they know where their horns are. When they go through doors, they know exactly how to tilt their head to get through. So they know exactly how wide their horns are.
Now, Kimberly, that looks like a potbelly pig in there, but it's actually a little different, isn't it?
Yes, that is a guinea hog. So again, they come from kind of more northern African regions, and my favorite fact about these guys is that they eat rattlesnakes.
Oh, that is amazing.
Like, if I had my own farm, I would definitely have guinea hogs just to manage the snake population. Rattlesnakes are amazing and they have a purpose, but I want to also feel safe where I am. So yeah, we have three. We have Lola, which is the mom, and then Kit and Kat are the two younger ones, and they love, especially on nice cool days like this with the sun, they love to just sunbathe, and they'll dig a little spot in the sand and just take a nap.
Now I see right down below here we have one of the animals that we've actually highlighted
Yes.
on his own.
Yes.
So if you are a fan, I'm trying to get but again, there we go.
Yeah.
If you're a fan of trying to get a better view here. Again, this is really hard. There he is. If you're a fan of the Zebu, you can go back and watch one of our past Facebook Lives and be able to see him a little bit as well. But he is a favorite here at the zoo.
He is.
Kimberly has raised him.
Yeah, he was, I think, 1.5 years when I started, as a part-timer, so I wasn't his primary, but once I became full-time. Yeah, so I've been his primary for most of his life.
That's great. And you've done such a good job with halter training him.
Yeah.
He can actually go and do some different encounters that we have here at the zoo. So besides our larger animals, though, we do have some smaller animals at the, over here as well. Let's go ahead and see if we can turn around here. And right now you might notice that we have two different types of sheep in here. What are the two kinds of sheep we have, Kimberly?
Yes, we have Tunas sheep and caracal sheep. And what's kind of odd about that is both of them are fatty-tailed sheep, which is actually not common. Most sheep are not fatty-tailed. And what that means is they store fat in their tail, as you would guess. And that acts like a camel's hump. They both come from desert regions, so water and nutrients aren't always in ample supply, so they have that fatty tail to help them. It also makes their meat leaner. So if you so you can dock their tails like you do a normal sheep. It's not going to hurt them, just their meat's going to have a little more fat in them, which if you like that, that's great. But if you do like lean meat and you have them, you can keep their tail on. Yes, that one's a caracal. They are different. Caracal tails do have a little more curves to them, where Tunas are more just straight down. So.
And they're all going to walk away from us to make this trying to do the video backwards even harder today.
Yes. But you can see their tail as they're walking away from us.
We're going to go ahead and just kind of do a walk around so that you guys can see some of those. And if you look right here, here's a beautiful picture of one of those Tunas, I hope.
Yep, the Tunas are very uniform in colors. All of them are going to have that red face.
And there they go.
Yep. And you can see the Tunas tail's a lot more straighter than the caracals.
That's good.
So Tunas are very uniform in color, where caracals, they're originally all black, but when they came to the United States, weavers wanted a variety of colors, so they crossbred them with a couple other breeds, Tunas actually being one of them. So you do get that variety of color. You get some whites and some browns and some reds, and there's one straight ahead that's actually a caracal that looks like a Tunas.
Now, again, oh my goodness, I finally got it to switch around. Yay, look at that. Hey, I noticed we have one lamb in here too, Kimberly.
Yes, we do. We bred 4 of our females, but only 1 lamb this year, but we love her just as much. She is a caracal. And she is adorable. She actually came out 11 pounds, which is huge even for these guys. So vets did have to come and help, but they just had to help get her out. And after that, mom and baby were fine. And caracals are my favorite. And one of the other reasons are when they're born, the babies, their wool has patterns to it, very tight curly cues. They can kind of have a rib pattern or a walnut pattern to them, and no other breed of sheep has that. And as they grow up, they'll lose that. It's only when they're first born, but it really makes them unique and beautiful, and just another reason why they're my favorite.
I know one of the things you did for us here at the zoo is just create a wonderful program on wool, talking about how all wool isn't the same, where Tunas is more of a softer wool, the caracal wool is a better wool for like rugs.
Yes, and when we open up again, and when we have the yards open again, because even when we open, they're still going to be closed. You can come into this yard and feel the difference between the caracal and the Tunas, because caracal is very coarse and, like you said, used for rugs and more hardy use, but Tunas is very soft and better for clothing. So when you guys can come in and touch them again, that's definitely something you need to check out.
Well, we started our program, Kimberly, with some of the noisier animals here at the farm. So let's finish our program today with the other noisy animals here at the farms. Tell us what we have here.
We have domestic Guinea Fowl, and we actually have 3 different molts. We have a purple and a spotted and a black one over there, and they are hilarious. They're of course now not being noisy when we want them
when we want them to be noisy. Yes.
Yep. But they're They come from Africa, and wild guinea fowl, like, they live in the Saharas of Africa where there's predators everywhere, so they're very flighty, very skittish, and even their domestic counterparts have carried on those traits, so managing them's always fun.
I know one of the things we've started doing is allowing them to roam and then calling them back.
Yes.
Which hopefully we can do is just a Facebook Live of showing them go out and then call them back in, because again, it's one of those things where it's a great way to show how we continue to care for the animals and really unique in different ways.
Yeah, and it's been really cool. My coworker Travis is the one who's been doing that, and it's been really cool to see him work with them. Because I was not optimistic about it, and on the first day that he did it, they went out and they came back in.
It was beautiful.
It was beautiful. So even though they are birds and they're skittish and not the warmest animals, they still responded really well to training, and they love Travis. I don't think they like me that well.
Now we do have one question from a guest asking, how long do sheep and cattle usually grow to be? What's an average age of, say, sheep and then cattle?
Cows, well, at the zoo we get a unique experience because they're able to live out their natural life. We're on a farm, not necessarily, so we actually know the answer to that. Cows, 20 tends to be their max. Once they get to be about 17, 20, we're watching them a lot more closely for health problems. Sheep and goats, both 12 tends to be the max age.
This is a sheep face, by the way,
yes,
folks.
This is Lizzie. She is a favorite among staff and guests. So she is very curious and loving. And,
she's trying to make sure we don't have any food.
Yes.
So, but there's a good sheep eye view right there.
Yep. She misses you guys and wants you to come back. Yep.
Well, Kimberly, thank you so much for impromptu joining us. Yeah. She just happened to be walking by as we were starting, and since we were having so many problems with the tablet, by God, I just drug her into this program. Yeah. So as always, everybody, thank you so much for joining us, even with our little bit of crazy on the video today. Remember, even though we're closed, we're still caring.